St. Thérèse and the Roses by Helen Walker Homan. At the end of her life here on earth, St. Thérèse said, "I shall spend my heaven in doing good on earth, and after my death I will let fall a shower of roses." I've been learning about St. Thérèse since I was little, and I chose her to be my confirmation saint, so I know a lot about her and am able to teach others about her life. I will be teaching my audience about St. Thérèse's life, starting with her early childhood. Then I will talk about her entry into the Carmel and her life there. According to our Sunday Visitors Encyclopedia of Saints Updated, St. Thérèse was born in Alplicon, France, to Louis and Zélie Martin on January 2nd, 1873. She was baptized on January 4th, 1873. As a baby, Thérèse was sickly. As a result of this, she was sent to live with a nurse in the country for a year and a half. After this, she returned home strong and healthy. As a child, she was very stubborn, but she never wanted to do anything wrong. As soon as she did something wrong, she would run to her mother and tell her what she had done. She was also very smart. Zélie Martin died on August 28, 1877, after a 12-year struggle against breast cancer when Thérèse was only 4. After Zélie Martin died, the Martin family moved to Lisieux, where St. Thérèse started to attend school in October of 1881. Because she was very smart, St. Thérèse was placed in a class with girls that were much older than her. Because of this, the girls were very mean to her. She attended the school for 5 years. On October 2nd, 1882, Thérèse's oldest sister, Pauline, entered the Carmelite convent in Lisieux, leaving a lasting impact on Thérèse. Even though she was only 9, she asked the Mother Superior if she could also enter. In 1883, Thérèse contracted a mysterious illness. The doctors that examined her could not diagnose it and thought that she would die from it. Then, on May 13, 1883, Thérèse looked over at the statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary that was by her bed and asked Mary to cure her. In her autobiography, The Story of a Soul, St. Thérèse said, "Suddenly, Mary's face radiated with kindness and love. The statue smiled at her, and she was cured." This is the story of a soul that she wrote as her autobiography. After she was cured, Thérèse developed scruples, which is the constant fear that almost everything you do is a sin. She also had migraines very often, which resulted in her being removed from school and being taught at home by a tutor. On Christmas in 1886, Jesus gave Thérèse peace, and she no longer suffered from the scruples. Thérèse never forgot her desire to enter the Carmelite convent. When she was 14, she again visited the Mother Superior of the convent and asked for permission to enter. She said no, and the director told her that she could not enter until she turned 21. Since the priest had said no, Thérèse went to Bishop Huguenin of Bayeux and asked him for permission to enter. He said he would consider it. Since he wanted time to think it over, Thérèse then went to see the Pope on November 20th, 1887, and asked him to allow her to enter the Carmel, despite the order that the pilgrims had been given not to speak to him. He said, "You will enter if God wills it." On January 1st, 1888, she was informed by the Mother Superior that she would be allowed to enter, and she entered the Carmel on April 9th, 1888, and professed her vows on September 8th, 1890. She took the name St. Thérèse of the Child Jesus. While at the Carmel, Sister Thérèse developed her little way. And here's a video about her little way.
It is the way of spiritual childhood, the path of confidence and complete surrender. I wish to teach others the little means which have succeeded so perfectly with me, to tell them it is necessary to do one thing only, to cast before Jesus the flowers of little sacrifices.
Sister Sister Thérèse was diagnosed with tuberculosis and was admitted into the infirmary on July 8, 1897. According to www.littleflower.org, she died on September 30th, 1897, was beatified on April 29th, 1923, and was canonized on May 17th, 1925. She was declared a Doctor of the Church on October 19th, 1997. When St. Thérèse was dying, she said, "After my death, I will let fall a shower of roses." She has kept this promise. When people pray to her for a certain intention, sometimes they will receive a rose and know that their prayer has been answered. And this is the prayer, the Novena Rose Prayer to St. Thérèse. O little Thérèse of the child Jesus, please pick for me a rose from the heavenly gardens and send it to me as a message of love. O little flower of Jesus, ask God to grant the favors I now place with confidence in your hands. St. Thérèse, help me to always believe as you did in God's great love for me, so that I might imitate your little way each day. Amen. Many people have received answers to prayers through the St. Thérèse Novena. According to Jesus Lingo, her mother received a rose after she prayed that the landlord would not cancel their lease. Shortly after, she said, the landlord suddenly changed his mind. He wanted to extend our lease. St. Thérèse's life was a very short one, but it was filled with graces. She truly did as she said when she said, I shall spend my heaven doing good upon earth. Learning about St. Thérèse's life is very important because it gives us an example to live by.